Good afternoon. I'm Deputy Chief Dori Koren with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I oversee our Homeland Security and Special Operations Division. With me today is Assistant Special Agent in Charge Brian Percival with the FBI Las Vegas Field Office and Executive Director Carrie Underwood with the Southern Nevada Counterterrorism Center. We're here today to discuss the results of a terrorism investigation that began earlier this week. On Tuesday, November 28th, we uncovered a terrorism threat on a social media messaging platform. The threat involved a suspect that claimed he was commencing lone wolf terrorist attacks here in Las Vegas in furtherance of support for the Islamic State terrorist organization, also known as ISIS. As you can see from the message to my left, your right, this is part of the posting that was made. You can see here he announces that he will start lone wolf operations in Las Vegas against the enemies of Allah. He asks for support. He says that he's a supporter of the Islamic State. And he says that he'll make sure the Zionists in this city know it. Also included, if you can see on the right, the top right of that post was an ISIS flag and also some words in Arabic. Upon discovering this threat, we immediately initiated a multi-agency investigation. We also enhanced our security posture across the valley as a precaution, and we began to work very quickly to identify the suspect involved in this threat. Thanks to the hard work and collaborative effort by the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, the LVMPD Counterterrorism Section, and all of the partners of the Southern Nevada Counterterrorism Center, we were able to identify the suspect and his location within hours of uncovering this threat. The suspect is a 16-year-old juvenile who is local to the area and a recent convert to Islam. Our continued investigation that night revealed additional concerns regarding the validity of the threat, and at that point we immediately initiated a search warrant. The LVMPD SWAT team served that search warrant, and we were able to take the suspect into custody without incident. Our search revealed numerous items of concern to include terrorism propaganda and materials that indicated the suspect's intent to commit an act of terrorism. Some examples that were recovered included a handmade ISIS flag, which you can see a photo of, ISIS and Al-Qaeda propaganda, radicalization materials, and general guidance for conducting a terrorist attack, a handmade ISIS headband and patches, self-portraits of the suspect wearing these items and surrounded by ISIS propaganda, self-produced terrorism propaganda material in support of terrorism and anti-Semitic threats, as well as components for building an improvised explosive device and bomb-making recipes and instructions. As a result of this search and our overall investigation, we charged the suspect with multiple felonies to include terroristic threats, attempt to further an act of terrorism, providing material support to a terrorist or terrorist organization, and 5 counts of possession of explosive components. The suspect remains in custody, and we're working closely with the Clark County District Attorney's Office to prepare for prosecution. It's important to note, we believe this is an isolated threat that we were able to quickly mitigate. There is no indication at this time that there is any additional threats or further threats to our community. The fact is we have one of the best counterterrorism operations in the world that's here in Las Vegas. The exceptional level of collaboration between the FBI, LVMPD, the Department of Homeland Security, and all of our Fusion Center partners is unprecedented, and it's consistently proven invaluable, as evidenced in this case. It's because of this teamwork and our relentless approach to combating both crime and terrorism that we were collectively able to foil an ISIS-inspired terrorism threat so quickly. With that said, I also want to remind everyone that we do discuss quite a bit the importance of our See Something, Say Something message and the importance of remaining vigilant and asking our community to report suspicious activity. This case is a good reminder of why this collaborative approach to public safety is so important. If you see something, say something. It's not just a tagline, it's a commitment that we ask everyone in our community to uphold. So no matter who you are, if you have a role in this community, we're asking you to please continue to report suspicious activity so we can stay ahead of these types of threats. I'll just wrap up by saying thank you for everyone who took the time to be here today, and a special thank you to all of our counterterrorism and law enforcement personnel who continue to work tirelessly to keep this community safe. And before I open it up to questions, please understand we're early into the investigative process. Please, we ask you to be patient with us, as some of the details may be limited at this time. With that, we can take a few questions. Yes, sir.
How did you guys initially find out about these social
So there were multiple reports of the social media message, but the details of how exactly we moved from that beyond that point, we can't release at this time.
As far as the suspect's parents, what do we know about them? Was he living in their house?
The suspect was living with multiple siblings and his mother and I believe a stepfather. As of now, as I said earlier, it's an isolated threat involving him, and we don't believe that there's any additional threats to the community.
Do we know if he was, you might have already said, Las Vegas resident or recently moved to Las Vegas? Do we know details pertaining to that?
He's a resident of Las Vegas. Don't know the details of how long at this time.
And was there anything indicating about why Las Vegas? Was it just simply that he lived here, so that was the target, or was there anything indicative of Las Vegas being a target otherwise?
No, as I said earlier, we're really early into the investigation. The important thing here is to highlight the effectiveness and efficiency of our counterterrorism operations and to reassure the public that everyone is safe, the system worked, and we'll continue to work tirelessly to make sure that this community continues to be safe. But some of those details we cannot provide at this time. Yes, sir.
Can you provide anything on some sort of specific targets here in Las Vegas that he was zeroing in on to try to?
We're still early into that process of determining all that, but I would just reiterate one last point as I wrap it up. You know, right now we're very fortunate that the head of agency of LVMPD, Sheriff Kevin McMahill, and also the head of the FBI Las Vegas office, Spencer Evans. Both of them are very passionate about combating terrorism. Both of them care a lot about this community, and that's why we have such a strong partnership between all of our agencies here. So it put us in a position to be able to stay ahead of these types of issues, which is the important thing of this press conference. We'll provide additional details as we can, but please be patient with us as this is still early. Thank you, folks.